My name is Michael, and what are my thoughts on the first third, roughly, of this new season of Twin Peaks? Well, I first came to the show in the early 2000s after I saw the movie Blue Velvet, and it blew me away. It was an amazing film, and I immediately tracked down everything I could of David Lynch, and I began watching the series on crummy VHS tapes that someone had taken off of TV. I think maybe Bravo when they had it on there for a while. And I've been obsessed with the show ever since. And gradually over the years, I've had other favorite TV shows over the past 15 years or so, but all of them gradually were edged out by Twin Peaks. It is my favorite TV show. I absolutely adore it. I love the characters, the setting, everything about what's going on. And I was astounded when I heard that we were going to get a third season 25 years after the original ended. And I've absolutely loved it. I love all of the humor that they're throwing into this. Twin Peaks was always one of the funniest TV shows, and this season is no exception. They've ramped up the humor to a crazy degree, and it's very funny every single episode, which even the original Twin Peaks was not. We got to see all of these characters that we saw before mixed in with all of these new characters. I originally thought for a while that we're not going to pick up immediately after where the Lodge left off, but we do in this one, and everything that happened at the end of it needs to be resolved, and there's all this new stuff going on. I thought that a real Agent Cooper would be back and trying to track down the evil one. I had no idea he was going to be lost in the Black Lodge for 25 years, like sipping coffee, I guess. I don't know what he was doing for all that time. Unless time works in mysterious ways. It's like they throw that in there like in Dark Souls with Solaire. It's like time, the flow of the universe is strange, just to explain things. But I love it anyway. I love seeing all of these characters that we've seen before in their new sort of roles. They're not quite the same people that we left. Hawk feels different. Andy and Lucy don't feel different. But Gordon Cole and Albert, they're showing their age, so they feel like different people. Albert isn't as fiery as he was before because he's an older guy. He's not quite as quick on the uptake and the insults as he was. But they're all still amazing. I feel ridiculous kind of fanboying out about this with all of these these characters, but I just adore them. I absolutely love everything going on with the Evil Cooper storyline. That's been my favorite part of this. But that was the same thing with the original show. I was much more interested and fascinated with all of the evil stuff going on with the Lodge rather than the standard lives of everyday people, although that was nice too. I think that Frank Truman has really stepped into these shoes of Harry, and he is absolutely amazing. I'm really hoping we're going to see Harry, because they've mentioned him, I think, at least 3 times at this point. So I want him to be mentioned. I want him to appear in the show. I think it would be absolutely great if he showed up just at the last second to save the day in like episode 18. Some people are even suggesting that maybe we're going to get another season, maybe get a season 4. They're setting up so much stuff. We may need a season 4 to get there. I hope that's true. I think they have many more stories to tell. Everything going on with Evil Cooper is exciting, creepy, bizarre. Twin Peaks set the standard for this kind of stuff 25 years ago, and they're immediately out of the gate. They're already leagues ahead of anyone else trying to do scary, mysterious crime, supernatural programming. And nothing else competes with them. They are still the kings of that because they originated a lot of it, or a lot of the modern interpretations of it. I do love seeing Dougie act ridiculous, but I think I was kind of over it after the first couple of episodes. I think I probably could have done with a little bit less Dougie. Like, I prefer the regular Coop to be back at this point, but some people said maybe he's never coming back, and he's going to end the show as this weird character, although that sounds a little bit surprising. I do have some issues with, they seem to be using little CGI graphics here and there, like to show a fire above the jackpot at the casino or above the kid that died. I think that's a little strange, and not strange in a good way. I mean, it's strange because it's so obvious. It feels like a bad CGI. It feels like a bad CGI effect from the 1990s. Right around the original Twin Peaks came out. And when they showed the Lodge, I also didn't care for the fact that they seemed to be using some CGI stuff there, not just with the tree. Although they don't need to make that, the evolution of the arm, this electric tree thing, that could have easily been done with special effects. You don't need computer special effects. Mundane special effects could have done that. You could have put this like neat thing up there and ran some current through it or something. It would have looked amazing. It would have like sort of blackened and charred, and you could have had an actual tree there. I really, I'm really saddened by the fact that Lynch and Frost are giving in to the computerization of everything. I think they even did that with the voices on the the lodge with Twin Peaks. In the modern one, they sound too good, they sound too perfect, they sound too digitized. And the original one, which I suspect was done with some kind of analog recording system because it was a quarter century ago, it doesn't sound as normal or as right. It sounds sort of clipped and strained and weird at the end because, it was like an actual recording, some sort of actual, I don't know, tape recorder or something was being used for that. I don't know what was being used, but that seems like what it could have been. And it sounds a little bit too nice and a little bit too clean this time around. Having said that, though, everything to do with the arm is amazing. I thought that was incredible. Mike seems to be a friendly, nice guy, whereas he was always a little bit more weird and unpleasant, and he was just sort of uncomfortable to be around every now and again when he was like sniffing people and growling. But at times, but nowadays, I guess he's just confirmed as a good guy. Maybe, we'll find out. Probably my favorite part of the entire series so far has actually been the first episode where we have Agent Cooper, and I didn't know this at first, but they were actually playing the song American Woman, by the Guess Who. This amazing, well-known song that pretty much everyone of a certain age has heard, or really everyone has heard because it's in so much media. But the song is played in this weird, reversed, backwards, kind of chopped and screwed kind of way. And it really feels like this, it actually sounds, now that I've watched it a couple of times, the sounds that they're making on the track, they sound a lot like how people in the lodge speak. I hadn't thought of that. And taking a classic American song, American Woman, that we all know and love, which weirdly enough, the remake of that song by Lenny Kravitz featured Heather Graham in the music video, strangely enough. But anyway, they take this song that everyone knows and loves as part of their childhood, and they turn it into this weird, dark, creepy, unpleasant thing, sort of like how the perfect, wonderful Agent Cooper of our memories is now this dark, evil, unpleasant, malevolent force. And I think that was a really clever little audio interpretation. The rest of the music, as I mentioned in previous videos, I'm not crazy about for the most part, aside from the chromatics. I don't think, the music had this force and energy and played a role in guiding our emotions and understanding the emotions of a scene like an opera would with its music. But nowadays, it just doesn't sound very good. It sounds pretty crummy, actually, some of the times. Not all the time, but some of the times it's just sort of dull and barely recognizable in the background. Everything to do with the FBI investigation I've loved. I love Tamara Preston. I love that bizarrely, unlike I've heard in the book, she's very different, but in this one, she's played by Krista Bell, and she's sort of like this very sassy, sexual kind of person wandering around this skirt. I suppose David Lynch told her to walk in that way with her hips wiggling. And it's kind of interesting. I enjoy that. I thought that was kind of neat. And hey, she's easy on the eyes, so there's that too. I have a sneaking suspicion that David Lynch gave up smoking fairly recently, over the past couple of years, because there's been multiple references, including his own character, to smoking and how good he felt doing it. And they have a good laugh when they hear this one guy say that he's been smoking for 75 years and he's not going to quit now. And that was amazing. I like that. I like to see the characters, just enjoying life by drinking and smoking. I think that makes them feel better, and it makes me feel better to see it. The evil characters presented on the show, like Richard Horn, have been done extraordinarily well. He seems already in just a couple of appearances, you can almost feel sorry for him if he's being, affected by these malevolent forces. Is he the son of Audrey and Evil Cooper, as some people have suggested, which would make things really creepy if he attacked her when she was impregnated by his evil Black Lodge seed when she was in a coma? That would have been really dark. Darker maybe than almost anything in the show since Laura. That would be incredible. And at other times, he's totally irredeemable and horrible when he looks like he's sexually assaulting this woman. Maybe he's going to attack the other ones. And later on, he actually hits and kills a child. So they're really going far with the serious stuff this early, and it's painful and unpleasant, but also sad. And like in the original show, they show sad moments and characters reacting as they should, by crying, by being upset, it's okay for these characters to do that. I'm surprised now that I think about it that Andy didn't cry when he heard about this, if he's investigating that kid, but never mind that. I have really enjoyed the Ashley Judd stuff with Ben Horne and the soap opera stuff going on with marriages failing. And, we very briefly got to see Amanda Seyfried and her loser boyfriend messing around, and there's drugs, and all of the stuff that seemed to be going on before is happening now. High school kids are being pimped out. People are doing drugs and ODing. The police don't know what's going on. We have all of this amazing cast of characters. They just didn't take a giant ensemble cast. They took a giant ensemble cast and added even more people into it. And I'm not necessarily crazy about the snippet style where we have a tiny little snack of everything going on. But overall, I think it's absolutely been incredible. The experience of watching the show has totally reawakened my interest in TV. A few years ago, I have to admit that my attention span died. Someone took it out behind a woodshed and gave it both barrels. So the fact that this show is not only keeping my attention, but it is totally dominating it for the hour that is on. Usually when I'm watching another show, I'm kind of like faintly like looking at Twitter or doing something else, or I can't keep completely focused on it. But with this show, 60 minutes passes in a flash. It passes almost instantly, because every single second is something you could drink in. It's not just the plot or the characters that's interesting, the look and the feel of the world, the mystery going on everywhere. It's something that can just totally arrest my attention for so long. I've been loving all of the stories and the theories and getting involved with fans and watching other fan videos of it. It's absolutely extraordinary. And I didn't actually get to go through that because I didn't find the show in the early 90s, unfortunately. I found it, 10 years after it was canceled. So, the fact that I can go through that has been an incredibly positive experience. I love talking to everyone who writes comments on this and hearing their theories and things I never would have guessed even after a couple of viewings. They're like, oh yeah, I didn't notice that. This is amazing. Like, someone pointed out that the tree inside the Black Lodge, the evolution of the arms sort of looks like a dendrite, which is a word related to the word tree in ancient Greek. And these dendrites are how we communicate with thoughts in the brain. They actually mentioned in the original series that dreams come from acetylcholine neurons firing electric charges in our brain. But no one knows exactly why we pick these images. And now we see that the creatures in the lodge, which we've always known were mysteriously interested in electricity, maybe that's because they're creatures of thought and creatures that exist because they can move around in our minds during dreams, so they're related and powered by electricity. And thus, weirdly enough, they may have more power in modern times than in ancient times. So the series just keeps growing, but they never let the mysteries go away. That was one of the reasons why I did not end up having a totally positive experience with Lost or Fringe, because they felt like they were just frittering away their time and going nowhere, and the mysteries weren't leading anywhere. But in Twin Peaks, the mysteries really are. They feel like they're constantly being expanded upon, even if we never get a final answer. Somehow David Lynch can do that, and the guys on Lost and Fringe couldn't do that for me. They just didn't have the talent. They didn't have the skill. And everything about this I am so excited for. I'm so pumped to watch all of these other episodes, to see Evil Cooper taken down, or who knows, maybe he won't. Maybe he'll win. Bob won last time. Maybe Evil Cooper's going to win this time. We don't know. And I want to know more about every single one of these characters, except for maybe Dougie Coop. That I can probably do without. But every one of the other ones has just been amazing. And just seeing them interacting with everyone else and trying to figure out the mysteries of what's going on in the background, it's all been absolutely extraordinary. I think this first third of the show has been unbelievable. I think the original part of the show has been absolutely amazing. Overall, I'm having an amazingly positive experience. Even with my criticism, I'd still give the show like a 98% greatness rating. It's well into A+ territory. And I'm looking forward to more of it. So please tell me what your overall general thoughts in the comments section were about the first third of the show, the first 7 to 8 episodes. What you thought of everything that's been going on. If you thought, have you had problems with it? Have things annoyed you? Do you not like certain things about the show? Do you like other aspects of the show? What about the show do you love? Do you love the characters? Is it trying your patience? Do you not like what's going on? Did you not want to see someone sweep the floor for 45 seconds in episode 7? Like I didn't. But overall, it's just been incredible. I'm seeing just Shelley, and the last episode that I saw, episode 7, ended with just a couple of minutes of the Double R Diner. David Lynch said that when he was making Twin Peaks, right before, right after it was canceled, he just had this world in his head all the time, and he couldn't get it out. He needed to do more, which is what led him to do Fire Walk with Me. And I feel that. I think everybody who watches the show feels that Twin Peaks becomes a part of you. It's a place, not just in fiction, it's sort of a place we can all go to enjoy ourselves, to love being there, to talking with friends. It feels like an amazing fantasy to go to, and it's just a beautiful dream that we all have about America, about our lives, about the towns we live in and want to live in, about our friends and everything about them. It's amazing to go back there, and I just love the end of the last episode, in episode 7, where they were just standing around in a diner listening to music. It was a busy day. People were eating pie and eating burgers, and it just seemed beautiful, and it just seemed amazing. And a little moment of something to treasure and keep inside you is what makes Twin Peaks the great show that it is, and what makes people want to come back to it, want to watch it, want to live in that world, because that's a key to a television show. You can have the edgiest, coolest, most violent, most weird show imaginable, but if people don't want to live there and just spend time with these characters, they're not going to like it. They're going to hate it. They're going to not want to go back to it. But this one, everyone is going to love. Everyone's going to want to go back into it, back into the town. We all want to go to Twin Peaks, and that's going to allow us to whet our appetite a little bit more. So please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos about David Lynch and Twin Peaks and the other movies and video games and things that I review. And I'm going to link here 2 videos that I made also about David Lynch and Twin Peaks, so you can go check those out, please. And tell me what you thought in the comments. Have a good day.